So in last tutorial, what we had seen is about creating this circle. And in this part, we will see how we can animate this. Basically, we are going to do a bouncing ball animation with the help of the keys and this circle. So first of all, I will reduce its size. And for that, I will use like scale option from here. So if you see, there's an X and Y height and there's a link over here. If we break it, then it's scale like this. But right now we need to scale it proportionally. So that's why we keep this chain as a active over here. Then now let's change it a bit like this. And then with the help of move tool over here, we'll just animate it. So for that, I need to use this frame grid as our ground so that we can animate it like a ball like bounced and then animate like this. So for that, the initial position should be this. And now for the animating anything, we need to add some keys. So for that, if you see over here, there's a stopwatch type option over here, which help us to put the keys for our animation. So for that, we need some of the keys like position to move as we need it to animate like in a motion. So for that, I will use position key. If you press it, then you will see that there is a blue dot present over here. That means there's a first key. And after a certain interval of time, if I like move it for 5 frames and put it down, you will see it start moving because it's got a path to move on. Now, after 5 frames more, I will just animate it like put it over here. So with the respect of time, it's changing its position. That means we had defined its position by the respect of the frame intervals. So this is basically an animation now. And now after 5 frame another, I need to put it down also. Again. Like this. I'm just creating a rough animation and that's not a perfect animation. So like this. Now you will see it's moving on. Now if you see that we had only put key over here also, but at the left of area like this over this area there is no key. So we will crop our timeline with the help of this slider. So I will just click and drag it like this so that our animation, or like if we hit so it's keep play in the loop because it's not go over here. My time slider doesn't go over here as we had cropped our timeline to for the preview of the object. To preview its animation smoothly, we will use two of the keys. First is 0 and another is spacebar. We see the ball is animating, but it's not a perfect animation. For a perfect animation, we will be using a frame skeleton like a bouncing ball animation sheet. And with the help of that, we will use to animate this. But now I will just show you one more thing, that how we gonna put the scale option in this animation. So at the point of collision, if you see over here, there's a point of collision over here. At this point, our ball stretch a bit. So for that, we will use scale. So before the collision, I will just put my timeline, I'm like slider a bit up, and over here, I will just put a key. After that, at this frame, I will just unlink this and squeeze a bit and keep its position like this. And at some interval of time, we will keep it as the earliest key, like 27 by 27. So it's like keep a circle. If you see this, found stretch squeezing over here. Now we will just simply click and select these key and just press Ctrl plus C to copy the key. And in another collision, like over here, before a key, I will just press Ctrl plus V so that we don't need to key it again and again. So just keep it like this. This position also. Now let's play it. It's a bit more realistic now, but now that's not a perfect one as it doesn't have any motion blur over here because if something moves so fast, then it has a motion blur. So for that, I will use this option over here. That's a motion blur enable switch. If you click it, then it's also nothing happen. To make it more visible, what you have to do is, if you see over here, there is an option called motion blur. If you just click over here, then motion blur is active now. And again, let's have a preview. Much better. Now, this is the way through which we can animate a ball. Now we are using a frame sheet to animate this ball. So let me just click over here, and the keys were like, they're like vanished, they are deleted. And now let me import the file to show you how we can use the animation sheet to animate this ball. For that, we'll go over here and in import, just go in file. Shortcut is Ctrl+I. In downloads, I had already put over here the animation sheet. And then just click and drag in the composition, and you'll see it's the below layer. It's in the below level. Okay, now just scale, press S to scale, and just keep it like this. Perfect. Now I will use this circle. So for that, I will also have to scale it down, so like this. Perfect. As you see in this sheet, it shows the motion of the ball, and also it's representing its frame numbers. So for that, it's in frame 1, it's as it is. So I need to animate the two values, which is position and scale. And if you hit U, you will see the keys which you had already put. Okay, so U is the shortcut to show the keys, show the property of show the keys of those properties which we are going to animate. So now at this point, this is like this. In frame 2, to move it frame by frame, what we have to do is like control and arrow. Next frame, again control plus arrow for frame 3, control plus arrow for frame 4, and in frame 5 you see it's a bit squeezy. So I have to do another thing over here, which is rotation also. So I will key it. So we are animating with 3 of the properties, like 1, position, scale, and rotation. And now I will just unlink this and keep the key over here, as I need it to be animated from this interval. That's why I kept the scale key over here. Now just drag it a bit, and with the help of rotation, I'll also keep it like this. Now that's another frame, which is frame number 6, and over here you will see it's more stretching a bit. Keep it like this, try to cover the outline of the sketch. And at 5, 7 frame, we have to keep it over here. We have to rotate it like this. 0. Okay. Next frame, control plus arrow, and then over here, try to keep it like this. Control plus arrow. Control plus arrow. Give it a more position, like a rotation like this. So now I had completed the animation part. Now let's have a view. But before that, let's uh, switch this option, which help us to visualize, to just it's help us to see or not to hide and unhide the layer. So I will just keep this eye off so that we only see the ball. And now let's play it and just keep the slider like this. Now it has a perfect animation. If you see this, it's following the animation chart. So with the help of these options, you're going to animate this ball. This is the basic which you use to animate the objects. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.